Rattlehead 50222 here, guys, the Stuttering Reviewer, and today we're getting down to the nitty fucking gritty here. Continue down the path of the discography, man. Like I said I would do, finish, and I am on one of my favorite Megadeth records to ever come out. Like I said, all of them is good to me. Well, there's a couple of them I don't really favor, but this one, guys, when this record came out, and a lot of reviewers will say otherwise, I'm not sure why, but this album is the shit. Period. You know, and I wasn't the only one to think so, man, because this album, no other Megadeth album to date, since this record, you know, Super Clutter, we all know, just hit number 6, but this son of a bitch was the only record since Youthanasia, you know what I'm saying, to be, you know, in the top 10. This one hit number 8. The reception was really well. Every song on it was really cool. The artwork was cool. Everything about this fucking album was cool. A couple of things to go down. Guitar World named this album the #1 metal album in 2007, period. And for, you know, a established music magazine like it is, to say that, it's pretty damn good. We all know Megadeth has had label troubles, you know, music label troubles up to this point. They switched to Roadrunner. Again, you know, Dave's not easy to get along with, and I'll probably imagine a lot of it had to do with Dave, but a lot of it has to do with the guy wants to do what he wants to do, and when a record label says no, it gets under his skin, I believe. I don't know all the details. I just know he's not easy to get along with, and you know, he likes perfection, and you know, I kind of agree. You know, this album came out May 7th of 2007. I remember the day it came out, it blew my mind. I was like, yes, finally. You know, we just come off a really good album, and it took a couple of years, guys, longer than expected. Normally they come out with one every 2 years. You know, they toured so long. When he come out on that one night in Buenos Aires, after that sold out show, changed his mind from becoming a solo project and retiring the Megadeth name, which I'm so glad he did, because I'd have still bought Dave Mustaine shit because he's that good. But we all seen MD45. Sorry, it's not that good, man. You know, if, you know, Dave Mustaine singing, Dave Mustaine doing rhythm, it's good. Dave Mustaine doing rhythm, Dave Mustaine not singing, even the remastered version's not that great because it wasn't meant. It just, I don't know. A couple of songs on it's okay, but that's another album. Anyways, this was produced by mainly Dave Mustaine. Again, we go into this. Dave Mustaine's the main. I'm going to do this, and you're going to listen, and it works. Jeff Balding is on there again. I think for, you know, just to help out on the stuff you didn't know. And Andy Sneap is a production master. He's another Max Norman, Mike Klink type dude. He really fucking, you know, he's the guy, the main producer on Endgame. So, dude knows what he's doing. Can make Megadeth sound really well. I really wish they could find somebody. Not Johnny K blew 13. He blew it, but he really made up for the fact in Super Clutter. Really do. He really did a really good job. But again, it was, yeah, more money to deal with. More, you know, everything was just, I don't know. I'm still glad it's the last record with him because I just don't know, man. Anyways, and a lot of reviews will also tell you this about Dave Mustaine, especially for this record here. Anytime it has Mustaine written, all the songs written by this, that, and the other, that maybe they should let. Okay, why do you say that for? Because Rust in Peace was Mustaine. He had it wrote before them guys even entered the band. So yeah, they put their couple of their shit with it, but the rhythms and shit, everything about that album was pretty much done. Lyrics and music wise was pretty much done. So you can't say that. Mustaine's the mastermind. They all work around him. So anytime a reviewer says that, I'm wondering whether they smoking, because that is not true. It's the furthest from the truth. The only song on this album that wasn't co-written by somebody else was Never Walk Alone, and that was, he had help with Glenn Drover on that song. Still a good song. We had a totally new lineup change. Glenn Drover helped tour, and Sean Drover helped tour the last album, and James McDonough was on bass. Well, on this album, totally new lineup, actually had Glenn Drover on this record. Sean Drover, James Lomenzo, a bass legend on bass, and Dave Mustaine. It's 47 minutes and 57 seconds long, one of the longer Megadeth records, but again, I think it's the shit. I really think it's a great album. I think it's the best album since Countdown to Extinction. You've probably heard me say that many times. I mean that shit. It's the best sounding record. Upbeat wise, hard wise, everything about it is just the best album since Countdown, period. If this album would have come out right after Countdown, oh my goodness. Anyways, moving along. Now, Glenn Drover, once they started touring on this album, a lot of folks will say it was because Glenn Drover wasn't making money. Well, nobody really knows the problem, what happened. I mean, I don't. There's speculation, but Glenn Drover left for personal reasons, period. We're not going to get into why, because it's no big deal. He left. That's the bottom line. It wasn't anybody's decision but his to leave, so he left. And he was replaced by the great Chris Broderick on this tour. And I got to see him that tour, the first Gigantour, as a matter of fact, was in, maybe it was Gigantour tour. I'm not for sure. I've seen him so many times, it's ridiculous. But anyway, really good fucking album, man. Let's get on to the artwork. The artwork was originally a contest held by DeviantArt, and they were supposed to pick, Dave Mustaine actually picked a bunch of artwork to be inside the cover and stuff like that, and they were supposed to pick the actual cover. Well, even though the one Dave Mustaine picked was not the one that went on the front cover, evidently, is what I've read. If I read it wrong, whatever. But it's got some really good artwork, man. Front and back, everything. I love how they incorporated Vic with the Angel of Death. They even come out with a guitar for that. So it was really, really cool, man. I really, really dug this album. Let's get down to the tracks. Sleepwalker. Now, everybody will tell you Sleepwalker, Washington is Next is about the only good songs on here, and I totally disagree. This album is packing full of that heavy metal hard thrash they do. They, like Countdown, they do so good at that sound. I mean, they made some primo thrash albums, but when they this song, it was almost thrash. I mean, this album was almost thrash. It was so close. It just sounded really, really good to me. It was put together really well, and part of it was for the great Andy Sneap. Really, really fucking did a good job. Sleepwalker is just the shit. I mean, if you don't like the beginning riffs and just the entire song is so put together so well, it's just insane. Then we get into Washington is Next. Now, a lot of people will say, well, they ripped off Iron Maiden on that song. Well, I don't believe so, man. I mean, they don't have. Why does Dave Mustaine have to rip off anybody? Just like people saying that they ripped off Children of the Grave. He has his reasons for doing everything. So I think it was different. I love the leads. I love everything about it, man. And actually, when I seen him in concert, this tour, for damn near the whole song, Chris Broderick couldn't play his fucking instrument, man. There was having technical difficulties. So Mustaine played the whole fucking song damn near by himself until, the last solo and then it kicks in, and then, his shit got working. But I give it kudos to Dave, man, because he played that song and it still sounded good even without the leads and stuff. It was really good because he took over everything. Moving along, Never Walk Alone, A Call to Arms. The lyrics are kind of weak, but the music is fucking kick-ass. You got to get over the lyrics, guys. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of folks have been dogging Super Colliders. The lyrics are laying all that. They're all about death and politics. This fucking album here was a political machine. One of the most politically charged Megadeth albums of all time. Period. It was just... Anytime he's on the political realm of ideology, he makes fucking really good lyrics, man, because he makes sense. He pays attention to it and stuff. And I loved it, man. Moving along, the title track, United Abominations. Once you get through the talking, and all the shit at the beginning about how we pay 22% of their tab, blah, 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 and the song actually starts. It's really good. It's slow to mid-tempo. I really dug it, man. I like it. Moving along to Gears of War. this song was actually was meant to be in a video game. Actually, was in a video game, featured in a video game, but with the same title. And when this album first came out, I didn't know that. I kept watching the video game preview because I couldn't find the song, and it was just really cool, man. Moving along, probably the one of the lighter songs on the album, "Blessed Are the Dead," or how he says it in the song, "Blessed Are the Dead." I like it, man. I love how the Four Horsemen talk. I love how he pulls shit out of the Bible and incorporates his own thing, man. It's just really good, man. You know. Okay, then we can move on to a Tout Le Monde. Now, Roadrunner, when he got here, Roadrunner said, "Okay, we're going to re-release this song, and we're going to have you make a video." And he had already chose Christina Scabia to be on the album, which is in Lacuna Coil, a pretty cool band if you've never heard of them. They have a few cool songs, but anyways. Roadrunner actually wanted Mustaine to change the name to the song "Set Me Free." Kill the Tout Le Monde and put "Set Me Free" on there. And this is when the labels, they started butting heads because he was like, "That's a stupid idea," and they was like, "Whose idea was it?" And they were like, "The president's." And he was like, "My fans ain't stupid. I'm the one going to get the backlash over this." So they ended up putting the Tout Le Monde "Set Me Free." But they still got the "Set Me Free" in there. That's why it's in there. It has nothing to do. It's the record company's idea, period. It was supposed to be on a B-side Japanese version with, out on the tiles, a Zeppelin cover, which is pretty cool. It's really cool if you've never heard it. I just heard it today, as a matter of fact. I didn't know it existed. Moving along. All right, we just talked about a Tout Le Monde, which we all know was a re-track from Youthanasia. Again, I'll say it again, this version here is so much clearer than, it doesn't have that down-tuning bullshit that Youthanasia did, and I'm sorry, I'm not bashing you. If Youthanasia sounded like this album, it would have not been that bad, man, but a lot of the songs on there, they killed it with the down-tuning. They just did. They don't make records that sound good like that. I mean, Slayer can do shit like that, but man, Megadeth's not. I don't know. Never mind. Enough of that. I'm not bashing Youthanasia again. I really like that album. It's just not one of my favorites. It's not. It's got a couple of good songs on it that I favorite. But moving along, America Stand. Okay, now another politically charged, weird song. You know, it's almost him like reading off poetry. You know, pretty much talking instead of singing. You know, and it's different, man. I mean, it's still cool. It's one of them you could throw off there, but it was on there because of the political chargeness of it. I get it. You're Dead. Now, again, you know, he has a lot of innuendos and a lot of third-person talk, but this song here is talking about somebody. I don't know who. I really don't. So, if you all can fill me in, he is talking about somebody, something, someone on this song. This has nothing to do with the past girlfriend. This is somebody he truly dislikes, that he's going to dance on the grave. He don't give a shit if they're buried at sea. He's going to... So, really cool. Now, we get to the final track on the American version, which is Burnt Ice. And this is for, you know, this song was written for the meth addicts. You know, again, it's kind of a Hippocratic thing, because at the time he was still on drugs, off drugs type thing. And you write a song giving pity out to meth heads and stuff when a drug is a drug. But anyways, guys, this album, in my opinion, was... Okay, we all know the first few records was the classics. But after the classics, after Countdown, to me, this is better than Endgame, to me. A lot of people will say, you're full of shit. No way. Endgame, if you want to compare Endgame to a Rust in Peace, you can do that, kind of. But this album is compared, to me, I can compare this sound to either The System Has Failed or Countdown. And them three records that sound like this sound fucking great. Megadeth does the sound. When they go to hard rock, they do really, really good sound. This hard rock sound, they perfect it, man. Now, you want to get to more thrashy, more... I'm not necessarily Endgame wasn't necessarily thrash metal, but it was as close as you can get. It's a different day and age. Thrash has gone more almost death metal nowadays than it originally was. You know, it's gotten more dark, more evil. But as far as the Big Four coming out with albums, these two albums has blown anything the Big Four or any of them has come out with. Period. Blows it away. Both of them. Endgame and this one destroys anything the Big Four has done in the past 10 years. And for that, guys, Rattlehead50222, the Stirring Reviewer, out of here. Follow me on Twitter at Rattlehead50222, Tom Majors. I'll follow everybody back. Find me on Facebook at Metal Videos 365. Everybody have a fucking thrashing evening.